Hello everyone, it's me, Brenda from Blaster Works, and I am going to start working and try to wrap up finishing my junk journal July box that is holding my junk journal July journal. All right, so many of you know it's an accordion style journal, and so I wanted to sorry, something's in my eye. I wanted to have a home for it instead of just putting the journal itself on the shelf because it kind of flip-floppy. So I made this box out of a book cover. I have process videos, and I will, since this is the last one, I will link that playlist down below. When we last left off, I did the pipes. I was going to do pipes as a closure, but that didn't work. They were too thin. I couldn't figure out a way to have it wrap around the way I wanted it to look. So instead, I took the remaining pipes and I just glued them. It's kind of hard to see because it all kinds of blends in together, but I just glued it down onto the back. So there's like a little handle, and there's the pipes going across there, and then coming across to here. All right, so that's where we left off. Now, I still want to make a closure, and I had another idea, which also didn't work out, and that was to make like a light, like an industrial light, and then have like the wiring come across from the light, right? So I had decided I was going to do that. That didn't work out, and hold on, I'm going to show you what I did. Hold on one second. All right, I'm back. So to make my little industrial light, I had taken one of these Mucinex pill thingies, you know, not the pill itself, but just the wrapping, because it's kind of the shape I wanted and the size. And I took the liquid pearls and I made this. All right, so it's like a little, I don't know if you can see, guys, kind of blurry, but so it's like a little light, right? Like the cover of a light. So the light bulb would be underneath there. And you see it? Hopefully it's not blurry, but that's it. All right, and then I used alcohol inks to tint the plastic part, the clear plastic part. And then after I was done making it, then I cut it away from the silver bottom. And my intent was to glue it onto another piece of board and then have it kind of raised a little bit to where I could hook something behind it, and it would have sat like kind of right over here, right, or actually a little lower, like down here. But then I decided I wasn't going to do that either. I may still use the light. I may put it up here. And if you're wondering why it's off-centered, is because if this were the sign, it would say Blaster Works. It would extend out, and so this would actually be the middle of the sign. So I was thinking maybe I could have it up here like to light, light up the sign, right? And back in the day, that's what it did. So I may glue it there just as decoration. Okay. Or I may not use it at all. I don't know yet. So that didn't work. So then I came up with another idea, which I think will work. So I won't say what it is. I'll just do it on video. And then remember, I also was going to glue this to here, and I decided not to. I think I need it to open up because I'm going to add more to it, and I don't want it to hinder. Like I don't want taking the book out to hinder what I add to it. So I just kind of want it easier to take this out. This is actually this, and I was trying to see if it would fit. So this I'm going to just use I think photo tabs or something. I don't know. I'm gonna just put this here on the side to hold it there. I might just use photo tabs just so I don't have to put it down permanently. This lights up, but I was just seeing if it would fit. So if that was on there, if the magnet would still close, which it does. Okay, so then that's that. So there's that. So now this video, I'm going to add my new idea, which I'm pretty sure will work now. I will have it a closure. And then I'm going to just add, I might add the light. So I'll just glue that down. And then I still want to put something across here to kind of strengthen that up, my window, because I don't want my window to eventually break. So it's, it's kind of flimsy over here. So I might just put a piece of cardboard up here. So that's what we're working on today. And then that will be the end. That will be the end of the Junk Journal July box series. Okay, so hold tight. I'm going to do that video. It'll just be a process video. So possibly no talking, maybe a voiceover, but you know my routine. All right, hold on. So to begin with, I printed out some signs in different sizes, and I do this a lot so that I can choose which size is going to work best. And that's why usually on my master boards I have a whole bunch of extra printouts, is because I do this. So I'm just going to cut out a few of them. The no trespassing yellow signs will go on the orange fence on the front and back. And then the other one that says keep out will go on my closure. All right. And I'm going to use just some jewelry chain that I have and use that for the closure. Here I took some scrap from my Scrappy 8 trash bin, the one that was holding the leaves, and I'm just going to glue the sign onto that just to make it a little bit thicker, because I am going to put holes in the sign to attach the chain. And off camera I had already made my closure chain with the clasp and the little, I don't know what you call the little rings that are going to hold the sign, little attachments. So I've already put those on there. I'm not sure how it's going to fit. I kind of measured a little bit, but not really. So we'll see. I give credit to jewelry makers because I don't know, I couldn't do this all the time. This is really hard to get these little rings into holes and on the chain and all that kind of stuff. I was struggling with this one. But here it is, and now I'm going to attach it semi to the cover. I'm using a brad on the front, and I kind of hammered down the head of the brad to flatten it. Now just poking a hole in there to put the brad through, and put the little I put the little ring through the brad first, and then the brad through the book cover. And I can already tell this is going to be a little too tight, but I'm still going, and I add this little ring on the back side for the clasp. And here I also realized that the clasp end is going to have to be raised a little bit higher. So I'll do that later too. But for now, I'm thinking this is a little too tight. I'm going to have to fix that because I don't like how hard it is to get that clasp on the back cover. I have to squeeze the book together to get it on there. So I decide that I'm going to add a little bit more chain to it, give it a little bit slack. And I'll do that off camera, but I'll be back. All right, so here I added the slack and I left the chain long in case I need to adjust it again. But I do like it. And I did raise that back end, that back clasp. And now I just decided to add my no trespassing. I am sanding down the sign a little bit, and then I'll just add some brown ink to it just to distress it a little bit. And these I just glue on with some glitter glue. Didn't add any thickness or anything like that. And see, it says B.laster Works on there. Just a small detail. And now I'm just going to add something to that brad. And it's a handle from the pipe die cut. So I'm just going to use a little bit of super glue and just glue that to the top of the brad. Wasn't really necessary, but because the pipes ended there, I just figured it would look better. And then I'm also adding a little bit more slack to the chain just to make it easier to open and close because I was still struggling just a tiny bit. So here I'm just adding a little bit more slack and see how this goes. And it was a lot easier to put on, but now I'm not too happy with all the slack that's in the chain, but I'm just going to leave it like this for now. I'm tired of this damn chain. I like the way it looks, but it's still not how I really wanted it. All right, so now I'm working on that little piece of cardboard that I want going across the top of the window. This cardboard is the one I used for the shelf inside the book cover that holds the journal up. So it's really thick, as you can see. So I'm going to use this, especially since it already had that little fold in there, because I'm going to keep that fold and make kind of like a little mini shelf, let's say, up at the very top. But it's really thick and it's going to make that window side really sturdy, which is what I wanted. Yeah, see, I already like the way it looks on the window. It's nice and squared now, not floppy. Now just seeing if everything still fits with that little piece of cardboard at the top. Um, and also seeing where I need to put the abort sign. Make sure I don't have it too low or too high. It has to fit just right. And then I realized, well, before I put these photo tabs on there and put that down, let me cover up the inside of the where the brads are coming through, the prongs. So I get that paper again that I used on the inside cover, and I just glue a little piece on top of those. And here I'm just looking for the pin that goes on top of my glitter glue. So I'm cleaning up as I go just because I'm looking for that pin. I'm like, what did I do with it? And it's on the inside of the book. I find it eventually. There it is. All right, so now I'm going to add matte medium to the papers that I just glued down and also to the signage, just to add another layer of protection. Now just dabbing some of the brown ink back onto the inside of the cover. And that's it. That part's done. All right. It's coming together. We're almost done. We're almost at the finish line, guys. All right, so now I'm going to add the photo tabs and place my little abort sign to the inside of the cover. And this abort sign is part of Junk Journal July. It was one of the prompts. And but I don't want to keep it inside the jar. I want to see it. So I really like that sign. So that's why I'm putting it to the inside of the cover. All right, now let's see how everything fits. Put the junk journal back in, close it. Let's close the closure. Um, actually got a little twisted there. And real easy to close. And I think it's turning out pretty good. Now I'm just going to add these little guys onto that little piece of cardboard shelf. Now these used to be yellow. They're little chickies that Kristen sent me. And she said, hey, I sent you some pigeons for your factory. So I had to spray paint them gray to make them look a little bit more like pigeons and less like little chickies. I also go back and paint that little shelf a dark brown afterwards. And then now I'm going to glue my light down. I was not going to do it, and then I was going to do it, and I'm not. So I decided, yeah, you know what, I'll just glue it down. So I'm just using little dabs of super glue around the edges. And I think the reason I was going back and forth is because I think the light is a little too big. So I decided, okay, you know what? I'm just going to trim it down. Not big like round wise, like circumference wise, but thickness, like sticking out too far. So I end up just cutting off the lower part below the, well, I don't know. I can't describe it, but what I do is I just kind of cut through the liquid pearl and then fold it in because I need something to put the glue on. And I do that on both sides. And then I cut away the top and the bottom part, or the sides, I should say, since it's going sideways. The two sides, the rounded part, I cut that away with the scissors. You'll see here. So here I'm just folding in the sides. And then now I'm cutting around the edge. And just making it less depth, I guess you could say. All right, grab the super glue back out and let's try this again. And I did have a hard time getting this thing to stay down. I was able to have the bottom part of the light stay onto the cover, but the top part kept coming off because it was just hard to get it to grasp. Because those bricks too on the cover are very textured, so it was just really hard. But in the end, we get there. Right? This is it. This is the last part, and this actually wraps up the video. Light is on, it stayed, and here is the finished product. Finally done with this Junk Journal July box. And I'm quite pleased with it. Love that sign. I'm going to have to do that on something else. Closure still might take some of that slack out. But for now, I'm just going to leave it. Leave it for another day. No trespassing. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I actually did enjoy making it. Thanks for coming along on the ride, and appreciate all the input and feedback I was getting throughout. Thank you, Kristen, for the pigeons. And I just put a light back there so you guys could see that it goes all the way through. And this, I think when I put it on the shelf, I'm going to also add some fairy lights to my shelf so that you can see light coming through the window and stuff. But yeah, that's it. See all that texture on those bricks? That's from my homemade grit paste. All right, well, that wraps it up, guys. This is it. And I will see you guys on the next video. I might do a little bit of Defember if I have time. Just the prompts that inspire me. But until the next video, I want to thank you guys again for joining me and always supporting me. And love you all. And with that, I say, tschüss.